Sorry, I had to stop playing the air drums there. Nobody can see me in the backstage, but while the intro is playing, but I am air drumming the heck out of it when the beat drops. But welcome to another edition of Lowco Game Day Live. It is Friday. It's Lowco Friday Night. We got started a night early, though. We were partying last night late, if you stayed up with us. We had Zane Wilson and Dylan Clark from Hilton Head Christian Academy on from the car, live from the car after a big win over JP2. We had a great time last night. I am Justin Jarrett. I'm joined by Wes Kerr. We will have many friends stopping by, and we've got one in the green room already. Greg Dissel from Brightway Insurance is going to give us a little weather report because earlier in the week, Wes, we were getting texts about like, hey, are we going to be able to play football? Like, are we going to have to move to Thursday? And the forecast looked a little janky Friday, but like, I'm from an age when like you played football in the rain, like that. You didn't move football games for rain. Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know, man. It's getting kind of crazy for me, but fortunately, not too many of them got moved because it looks like it'll be unnecessary. But we'll find out because Greg's got the weather report for us. He always brings the hurricane updates to BNI, so I told him, hey, I need like a manic Kornacki style weather report the first night we have potentially bad weather. So he's going to give that to us in just a minute. We got Matt Smith coming on to talk Skiza, DC of Liquor Academy. I'm on last night. Look, cameo from the side. And so if you're watching this, I was having fun last night with him. But we'll have him to talk Skiza for a few minutes. He's on a tight schedule. He's a working person, unlike us. We work a different kind of game here. And then who else we got? I'm sure Jimmy will jump in to talk Beaufort. And we got Marcus Walsh, of course, coming in to talk Battle for B-Town. I think that's what I'm going with. Can't do Bluffton Bowl. It's just it's favoritism toward one of the teams. It uses one of their names in it. It's no good. Battle for B-Town is what I'm going for, I think. And we'll talk about other stuff too. It'll be fun. But before we go too much further, let's get into the slate for tonight. We got one off the slate, Hilton Head Prep forfeiting to Trinity Christian. I'll go through the Skiza first because that's how I have it laid out because we'll talk to Matt first. Hilton Head Prep forfeiting to Trinity Christian, which calls into question whether they play Hilton Head Christian next week. I don't know. Anyone's can bet if they, I'd probably lay on no. If I had to. Beaufort Academy at Colleton Prep. That's where I'll be tonight. That one's going to be fun. Should be really competitive. The Kings Academy at Cross. Rob Benson will be there, and I think he's going to join us tonight to give us a report on who got their first win because they're both winless. So that's kind of a cool story, actually. Somebody's walking away victorious tonight for the first time. Thomas Hayward at Pinewood is interesting to me. I talked to those Thomas Hayward boys last night. They're loaded for bear. They're ready for this one. They're fired up. They want to make a statement, so that's going to be fun. And then over on the high school league side, Hilton Head at James Island, uphill battle for the Seahawks there. Lucy Beckham at Colleton County, same for the Cougars. North Charleston at Beaufort, which is, Beaufort should take care of business there, but they had a week off, and so like you just don't know what you'll get. North Charleston, they've got a little bit of juice. Like they can be dangerous if you let them hang around. So I think Beaufort should be fine, but we'll see. Edisto at Ridgeland is a big one because the winner goes to the playoffs and losers not going to. And then Whale Branch at Branchville, I suspect Whale Branch should be able to take care of business there, but it is a trap game type situation because you got Bam waiting in the wings. So let's then, with that schedule in mind, let's go to Greg Dissel and bring him into the studio to talk weather. Greg, I put you on the spot this morning and said it's happening today. The weather report from Greg Dissel. So you've had a chance now to absorb what the schedule looks like, where we're going to be, and what the radar looks like. So what do we got? Are we concerned at all? Do we need to pack the rain gear?
Honestly, it looks like it's going to be a pretty moderate day. I mean, we do have some storms that could be rolling in this afternoon. The entire state is pretty much under a moderate, severe storm type thing, which is like 5 to 15%. But for the most part, most of those storms, other than the Charleston area, should already be gone by game time. And for the most part, you guys should be looking at some pretty good weather.
I'll be okay in Colleton.
Everything. I mean, it's clear. I can't make any promises.
Yeah,
I can't make any promises, but it looks like it's around 50% around 7 p.m. But for the most part, You guys should actually be seeing
And then
some
clear it out. Like
cool
after,
temperatures.
once we get kicked off, we'll be
Yeah.
good, right?
Absolutely. I mean, for the most
Maybe
part,
a delay at kickoff in the northern reaches of the Loco.
I don't even think it's going to come to that. I mean, honestly, the weather's going to be getting cooler, and what most people don't realize is that the cooler it gets, the more moisture gets sucked out of the atmosphere. So for the most part, you guys are looking at right around 71, 69, almost there on game time.
Yeah.
Some areas we dropping down to the 50s by the time the game's over. So it's going to be some good football weather tonight, man. If you ask
like
me.
it.
So, but nothing
Yeah.
to risk canceling the game on. Now, of course, can't promise anything, but from what we're looking at, it looks like it should be some good football weather. So,
all right, yeah, we're gonna have to get you to ride along to a game one of these days and
absolutely,
see the team in action.
absolutely. Nope, 100% would definitely look forward to it. But I actually totally agree with you. Football should be played in the sleet, the rain, the snow, the mud.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. So,
especially when we get to the bigger games, especially when we get to the postseason, the elements come into play, and it just makes it all the more exciting. As a fan, I'm sure you agree with that. But
yeah.
Unless you're a fantasy football fan, then the stats just go downhill from there. No one's airing it out. Everything's on the ground.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah.
Yeah, trade those New England and Buffalo running backs and receivers before it gets cold, right? Trade them while they're
exactly,
hot.
exactly. And bench the
you're
QB.
a Toronto guy, so you're down with the cold, but here not so much.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Actually, I think right now in Toronto, I think it's probably around highs are in the 60s and lows are in the 40s at this point. So it's good fall weather.
It's not bad. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, Greg, and
absolutely.
Thanks for
having me.
Mostly clean bill of weather for tonight, and we'll definitely have you on as we get into it in the playoffs. If weather becomes a factor, we'll have you back on to let us know what's going on.
Absolutely fantastic. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good one.
Appreciate you, man. All right, that was Greg Dissel from Brightway Insurance, a longtime friend of mine, and we've been talking about that concept for a little bit. So that was fun. But now let's talk Skiza with Matt Smith, because he's on a deadline. He doesn't have too much time. So Matty Smith, you were a cameo on the show last night from my sideline shenanigans, but now you join us in real life, sort of. I mean, virtually.
First off,
nice win last night, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a huge milestone, and you have been such an enormous part of that program for a while. So just wanted to first off say congratulations on that 100th win. How does it feel to reach that plateau and that milestone?
Appreciate it. I had a lot of good kids to coach here and worked with a lot of good people. That doesn't come easily.
Yeah, no question. We talked about it a little bit last night, and you corrected me that Vinny Emery worked for you before you worked for him. So you've been kind of the yeoman over there. Like, whatever, you don't care what your title is, you're going to do what you do, and they can lay whatever title they want on you, and that's just fine. You've been the head coach, you've been the defensive coordinator, you've been an assistant coach, then bounced back and forth between those roles, which to me says everything I need to know about you, which is the investment is in the kids, and it's not about you, it's about them. And I've seen that through and through from way back in the day with Tommy Lewis, and you've been kind of the thread that has been common throughout the eras of Hilton Head Christian Academy football, sort of, and baseball for that matter. But reflect on that a little bit, on just what it is that draws you to this profession and compels you to put as much of yourself into it as you do, really without a lot of return on investment as far as worldly things. Just give me a little bit of insight on that.
Well, I think, kind of coming down and working with Tommy first off is just to set the tone of, like, if you're going to do this long term, you better be in it to impact kids' lives, their futures.
That's right. It
better be that you want them to be good husbands and good fathers, good employees, good employers, to treat people well. Like, if you're going at it for wins and losses, you're going to get burnt out really quick.
Yep.
Because you don't win them all. I mean, you just don't. And I've had tough losses. I don't remember if you remember, I was at Bible Baptist and lost the state championship on a Hail Mary with 0.4 seconds left. And I think had I been in this for wins and losses, that one would have crushed me beyond repair. But but knowing that I have a bigger purpose, knowing that I can pour into these kids, point them towards Jesus, and just point them towards a bigger purpose in life than just playing a game. I think those things keep driving me, hoping and seeing fruits. I mean, I've been in it long enough now where I get to see kids come back and go, man, that's a great adult, and I don't know what role I played in it, but I get to see it. And especially I started pretty young. Some of those guys are my friends now, we like their kids play with my kids, and it's been kind of cool to know, like, all right, the things they're teaching their kids is what I was telling them when I was 24, 25. So
yeah, the Stephen Pages of the world, perhaps.
Stephen, you did a good job of putting this in perspective, and I love how you mentioned the experience of losing that championship game to Bible Baptist in in that Hail Mary, and certainly it's normal to be upset after something like that, but when you put in the big picture, when you're making a difference in these kids' lives, and you're putting the effort up every day to help them achieve those goals that you mentioned, like being a great parent and a leader and an employee. That's, at the end of the day, that's what really is the championship in and of itself. You're helping these kids achieve greatness on the field, and most importantly, later in life, throughout all aspects of their life. So, I mean, that's the really comes down to it, is the number one job of a high school football coach. Wins and losses are great. It's great to win games. It's great to win championships. But at the end of the day, you're making a positive impact on kids that you hope that will continue throughout the rest of their lives. And you've certainly done that with so many teams, and so many more to come as well. But, just tell me, obviously you guys make a big emphasis of playing for something more than yourselves, and glorifying Jesus Christ with your play. And just tell me about the messages that you send to help those student athletes realize that, and compete for a greater cause for themselves, and most importantly to play for an audience of one, as you say.
Well, I think yesterday was a perfect example. I gave a chapel. The chapel I gave the team was like, not everybody's going to be the king, right? Like now you're not going to get the ball 40 times every game. You're not going to be the guy that scores every touchdown. And so there has to be role players, and there has to be people that put things before themselves. Like, I know Justin's married. Justin, do you get to put yourself first in that one? Like,
no.
If you're doing it right, you put your wife first, put your kids first. Like,
that's right.
And so trying to teach these kids,
you come last. You have to come last.
and teaching these kids that we live in a society where the kids get put first so many times, and so they just have expectations that they're kind of the center of the world, and just trying to remind them of, like, this picture is so much bigger than you, and if you can put yourself second, you're going to do great things in life, because humility is a quality that just is going to go a long way in being a successful adult.
Amen, brother. Let's get back to talking about tonight a little bit, and we can talk about last night a little bit too. You guys rolled against JP2. Looking at the Skeeza slate tonight, we got Hilton Head Prep has forfeited to Trinity Christian. You asked me earlier in the week if I knew anything. I don't know if they're going to play y'all. I would suspect probably not, but I don't, unless you have insight into that.
I think they'll play us.
Think so? Okay, we'll see. Buford Academy at Colleton Prep is very interesting. The Kings Academy at Cross, someone gets their first win, and Thomas Hayward at Pinewood. Thoughts on any of those games that stand out to you?
The Pinewood game interests me just because I want to see them. I want to know, like, comparing scores a little bit. You kind of go, are they the team that we need to beat? And so just knowing that game, knowing how good O'Banner is. And just, knowing the Hayward team actually is a really tough football team. They play really hard. They just don't have numbers, but they battle. So I'd like to see them battle. Buford Academy, Nick does such a good job of preparing his kids. I know Colleton Prep's pretty talented, but I think their quarterback's been banged up most of the year. The Porter kid's one of my favorite kids to watch play. He plays how you're supposed to play football. He, both
Ferocious.
tough. I mean, I really enjoy watching him play. I would like to see that one. I'm not going to. I'm going to spend time with my family tonight on an off night, but that'd be a game I would want to watch.
All right, I'll try to keep you posted.
Yeah, and I don't know much about Kings. I know Cross has had, they're earning it this year, putting in their time and doing what they have to do to try to get a program going. But I don't know,
I like Jared Shaw a lot. He just didn't have enough guys to have a football team this year. It's tough, but they're still scrapping, man. They keep showing up and playing. That's half the battle.
Yeah, if you can get a team out there to take the field every time, and you can build some confidence in them, that's what we're talking about with, make them think something bigger. Let them know that you're not just playing to win and lose. Like, they're going to learn. It's going to be tough lessons, but they're going to learn lessons in those.
There's going to be plenty of humility to go around.
Speaking of season 3, we had a little bit of not much of an upset, but maybe a little bit surprising. PG knocking off Northwood Academy last night.
Did you see how that?
Talking about crazy endings.
The old free kick from the 30-yard line after the fair caught punt. That's they got him on the roll there. It was pretty cool. It's on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter.
I'm about to pull it up. I think I got it right here. Iceberg.
You got all the Northwood kids jumping up and down like they're going to block a field goal from 30 yards when they're 15 yards away. I don't know what they were. I guess just trying to. But it's kind of cool to watch. Yeah, I was actually wondering why they punted to him. I didn't see that part of it.
Yeah, but that's a really obscure rule that I've been aware of in the past, but I think forgotten about. I knew about that rule at one point.
What, did the NFL team do it last year or the year before?
Yeah, the Bills, didn't they? Was it the Bills that did it?
It's really rare. Like, it just has to be that one case scenario.
All right, here we go. All right, so he gets the free kick from the 30. I thought you had to do the drop kick.
No, it's got
I remember the Panthers did it in London a couple years ago.
The Panthers, that's who did it. The Panthers.
Yeah.
It's a free kick. So,
oh my gosh, that is bananas.
Wow, incredible.
That's a rough way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, which is worse? Would you rather that or the Hail Mary with 0.4 seconds left?
Well, I would rather that one because that one wasn't in a state championship game.
Yeah, I know. But let's say either one is same stakes. Which is a more painful ending?
I think that one would be more painful because that, like, the other one's a kid making a play. That one is on kind of like you didn't know the rules.
Yeah, you didn't know the rule. Yeah.
So from a coach's standpoint, I would unfortunately, probably rather have the kid go make a play than just sit there and have to sit idly by and watch a kick go through the upright.
I'd have to agree with that. I think.
Hey, Justin, you said you wanted to get better at your Ron Peduzzi.
Ron Peduzzi. Yeah. I didn't get it too good last night. I didn't have the throat bubble quite right.
Everything you do, you got to tie back to Pittsburgh football.
That's right.
Like something has to tie back. Yeah. That kid knew a guy whose uncle played
Eastern PA.
Eastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Eastern PA. Yeah. He's from Eastern PA. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Carried a rocking issue. Is that what the story is?
Yeah.
He played with a rocking issue.
I don't know. That was the first I'd heard of it. All I know is pretty much every story ties back to some kid in Pennsylvania playing football where football gets played.
Yeah.
Slippery Rock. Yeah, over by Slippery Rock. Shippensburg. Up by Shippensburg.
I'm a Notre Dame fan, so he at least humors me with Lou Holtz stories in there.
Oh, yeah.
I can do a pretty good Lou Holtz, too, if you want me to.
Peduzzi, he's got a character. He's mellowed over the years, though, hasn't he? I mean, he's still like a Marine. He's super intense, but like he seems to have a softer side that's
Yeah,
a little more accessible than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yes. The year that JP was playing, he was pretty intense. He wanted that one pretty bad. So yeah, he's mellowed since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that
fair.
first year I remember the first time interviewing, he was going gung ho. He was, but no,
Well,
I
he had to
definitely
mellow a little when he went to the Christian Academy.
Yeah, he has his days. He has his days where the full Marine can come out in him, but you know what he does? He is a great motivator. The kids love him, and they should, because he really cares about them, and he does a nice job of just, you know, being the lead for him, being the example setter.
He's a good guy.
Let's
Yes, sir.
talk
Well, we
about-
appreciate you, man. I think you're about out of town, aren't you? Or about out of time?
It's your time, not mine. So whatever you need.
Well, you told me. I thought you told me you were done at 12.
I gotta go early, but I got a couple minutes. So whatever you need.
All right, go ahead, Wes.
reflect on last night and about, you know, how your team is really looked the part, dominant form these last few weeks as you make those preparations towards the playoffs. You know, just describe how workmanlike your team was last night against JP2.
Well, I think it goes back to Wilson Hall, the second game of the year. We've played pretty solid defense. You know, we gave up a big play here or there, but teams have really had a hard time just jamming it down our throat. We kind of took it upon ourselves after Florence Christian last year, where all they did was shove it down our throat for 4 quarters, and we couldn't get a stop to look. That's not going to happen. Like if you want to be a team, you want to win a state championship, our mindset has to change. Like, you know what, we're going to gamble. We might give up a big play, but we're coming. We're going to hit. We're going to tackle. We're going to rally the ball, and we've gotten better and better at that every week. And we always used to kid a couple years ago that, you know, we had that junkyard dog mentality where we rallied around, but we kind of pulled guys down. You know, we got them down, but after the game, you're like, those guys don't even know they played a football game. The other team, they got beat 40 points, and they're walking back to the bus like, did we play? Like, what happened? And I feel like this year we're walking through the line, and the guys look battered and bruised, like they've been hit. And I think we do a pretty good job of being physical, which isn't always been a hallmark. We've been very good. We've been very talented. We've been very skilled, but we haven't been physical. And I feel like this year, and especially last night, it was on display. We had some, you know, some hits, and we got guys that'll pop.
Well, you could hear the mentality last night because literally there were people screaming from the stand on this lens, hit somebody. Like it was, you guys were riled up last night. You had the dogs riled up in the cage at halftime, ready to go out there and you know, pour it on a little bit more. So that's the championship mentality and the ferocity you have to play with to be able to win some of these games, especially if you got to go on the road to a Pinewood or something like that. It's going to be a battle, and you got to get into that mindset of you know, almost like war. But I saw some dogs out there last night. I think you guys are in good shape.
I appreciate it. We're going to continue working. I mean, they got a goal in sight, and I think the kids they're bought in and they're ready to go. You know, let's get this home stretch and let's see if we can't get it done.
They're definitely sapping all your energy, right? Like you're the hype man. High energy.
I mean, when you see me, normally you think full of energy and cheerleader. I think those are the two things.
Yeah.
Probably,
I mean, you're just always at 11.
Yeah, my 11 doesn't look like other people's 11, though, is the problem.
No, your 11 looks about like my 5.
Yeah. Don't get
we're wired a little different.
Just stay consistent.
That's right, man. Appreciate you. Take care. Enjoy your night off with the fam.
Thanks for what you do.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Bye.
Love Matt Smith. Good people. Known him a long, long time. Let's shout out some sponsors. I was going to do it earlier, but we needed to get our people in and out there, our guests. So let's shout out the MVP sponsors who presented our weather report with Greg Dissel. Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports, and my wife, Megan Jarrett, with the Pierce Group of eXp Realty. She would love to help you find your place in the Lowco, whether it is a starter home, a forever home, or investment property, those are nice. You can just come here for free every now and then and stay here for free and make money on it the rest of the year. Megan Jarrett would love to help you with that. So give her a call at the Pierce Group of eXp Realty, and she will get you going. Or just hit me up. I got her details. I got her number. And then when we find that right home, we're going to call on Homegrown Home Inspections. Jan Lucas and his team will give it the once over and probably another time over, and just make sure everything looks good before you make that big investment in the Lowco real estate market. They're the official home inspectors of Lowco Sports, Homegrown Home Inspectors. And then after they check it out and give us the A-OK, we'll go to the Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate closing attorneys of Lowco Sports, to sign the paperwork and make it yours. Ryan and Tiffany have been our biggest supporters, our first sponsors back in 2017, and still supporting us. And we appreciate them and everything they do for our community. And they will help you with all of your legal needs at Mickelson Law Firm. And finally, Hospice Care of the Low Country. My guy, James Dismond, is the CEO over there now, and he's doing big things. I mean, they have big things on the horizon. He just mentioned another thing they offer. They have hospice care and palliative care now, but they also offer free grief counseling to anyone in our community who needs it. So if you're going through, a hard time with losing a loved one or grieving for any reason, call on Hospice Care of the Low Country. They can offer free grief counseling to help you get over that, that difficult time and get back to feeling like yourself. So love Hospice Care of the Low Country. Please support them with your charity dollars if you are so inclined. And Wes, let's roll along. Any more to say about the Skeeza matchups from your standpoint?
Yeah, I think that Thomas Hayward game, I think there's potential there for this Rebel offense with Tony O'Banner and just the exceptional job that he has done under center. He's going to have to play well, but at the same time, you got to be looking ahead to Patrick Henry. You want to have your eyes towards winning that one. You'd love to compete. You'd love to put yourself to a good position in this game and to have a respectable outcome. But I think at the end of the day, the big game to determine obviously the playoff team is next week against Patrick Henry. So if you're going to want to maybe keep a little cards to the face or to, don't show them off to a team that is really technically sound, great offensive group. Devontae Hallman's doing a great job over there, so we could be seeing them in a couple of weeks competing for a state championship against one of our squads, or Christian may have to play them in the semis. We'll see how the bracket results over there. But I'm interested to see how Thomas Hayward does on the road and against a tough squad. So a lot to prove there for the Rebels, and they're motivated to put on a good showing. They want some respect of their own. And Tony McGreary has done quite the job back here at his alma mater. So excited to see how the Rebels fare there. And then Kings Academy Cross Episcopal. One of these teams is going to get a monumental first win. And
it's a low-key fun game. Like, I love it.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think obviously I would be happy to see Kings Academy win, but Cross, that's a group that's worked so hard this year. We talked to them at media day beginning of the season. Really impressed by the head coach and his mentality. Those players were working so hard, dialed in, and this would mean so much for them to get this done and get the W here tonight at home.
Yeah, and I've talked to a good number of people involved with Cross, and they're building something. Like it's got a chance to be really good long term, but they're going to have a patient approach because it's going to take time to build it right. And they've got it going right on the basketball side, and especially on the girls' side. They're a little further along on the girls, and that's allowing them to develop volleyball a little bit quicker. And that's a pretty solid program already. And then I think as the boys basketball program develops quickly under Doc Archibald and Matthew Fisher Davis, a ridiculous Skeeza 1A coaching staff, I think we're going to see the other boys sports start to get a boost from that. They also brought in Miguel Lopez from Tormenta to lead soccer. So they're doing a lot of things right. And I think it's going to blow up pretty quickly. And everybody I talk to there says Shaw is the real deal. Like, he doesn't have much in terms of numbers this year and athletes, but he is saying all the right things. He is pushing all the right narratives, and he's getting them, he's coaching up the ones he's got and building the foundation. And so I hope he has the energy and patience to see it through. Because when you're doing that kind of yeoman's work, it takes a lot out of you, and you can only go so long without seeing results before you have to just kind of de-invest yourself and do something else. But I think that he's the guy for the time, for sure. And I think if he's got the patience and the energy reserve to get through the down period, it's got a chance to be pretty good there. And tonight would be huge. And Robbie's going to come on tonight and tell us about it. And hopefully it's good. I mean, the Kings, they forfeited to Patrick Henry, right? So yeah. I feel like those are two programs that are in the same kind of situation. So it feels like a fair fight, which would be the first of the year for Cross, for sure. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to Colleton BA. I think that's going to be a hype one. If I were like setting odds or something, oh man, I think it's pretty close to a coin toss. So I'd give Colleton like 2.5 points at home, probably. I'd favor Colleton 2.5 at home, something like that.
The Green injury, I think it continues to play that big role.
It's a huge swing.
Those guys in there. Jackson Poor's a great player, and he could pull his own out there, but that 1-2 punch, and especially on defense, is where Green is making a huge impact. So to have both of them on the field, add that extra dimension. You don't know who's getting the ball at what time. Dietrich Schuford, though.
But the X factor is Cole Davis. I don't know. It's been kind of mysterious to some degree on our end what's going on with Cole, whether he's healthy or not. So kind of like Christian Tilton, it's a week-to-week thing. And if he's not playing, then I'd probably swing it back in DA's favor a little bit. That's probably a 3 or 4 point swing at least, I would think. Just on what I know from listening to people talk about how betting odds work.
Yeah, it's going to be
a pretty big swing.
This region's going to be fun because you got next week for the Academy, and then it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, because if BA can win them both and lock down the region,
right,
it's going to be huge momentum going forward in the postseason.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's much bigger for BA than Colleton Prep in a way, because Colleton Prep's already lost to Bethesda. So like region titles off the table. They still need it because they would get a home game most likely in the playoffs then. But BA really needs it because they're staring at Bethesda next week, which is a game you probably don't expect to win. You'd like to, but you don't expect to. So you kind of need to get this one in your pocket. And then maybe, it is. It's at BA, but I think they have a much better chance of winning that game next week if they win tonight. They need that confidence boost. They need some, because they've been kind of fighting it since Devontae got hurt. So they need a boost. So it's going to be a really live environment. Both those teams have great support and fan bases. Short trip for BA. They'll turn out. I'm going to try to get up there early and give me some food. I bet some tailgating's going on at Colleton Prep. I guarantee you there is. It's going to be good too. See some friends up there.
It's got some good tailgate as well. They got the couple of local restaurants that bring in food. They got
who does?
Grub is Bluffton.
At Bluffton. Oh yeah, no, Bluffton's been legit for a long time. Crib like stepped it up there back in the day, and they've carried it through. They got like that whole patio thing where they got all the vendors and stuff. It's one of the better environments in the area, and that's where you'll be. So let's talk about that, because that's really the biggest game on the schedule, and we saved it for the second half of the show due to just scheduling people, and so you had to stick around and listen to the second half of the show. But we got Bobcat Sharks tonight. I've settled on the battle for B-Town. I can't condone Bluffton Bowl. Sorry to Marcus Walsh, who should be joining us shortly. He's going to call it the Bluffton Bowl all night tonight, but I just can't do it. It doesn't sit well with me, because that's the name of one of the teams. So we're going battle for B-Town in Lowco lingo. In Lowco parlance, we'll call it the battle for B-Town. Do you approve, Wes?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. We got the alliteration, battle for B-Town. It just sounds good off the tongue. I approve.
Yeah. It's got the right number of syllables.
Yeah.
Battle for B-Town. That's how it's supposed to sound. So, I think that's what we're going with. Who you got? Because I feel like all season I've been pondering who do I think is going to win this matchup, and I still don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of complex ideas and thoughts after what we saw with May River against obviously Colleton County, but that's a Colleton County team that beat Hilton Head, so
It's a
certainly,
pretty decent Colleton
yeah,
County team.
yeah.
They'll fight you.
And Macy had his way. He had his way. 5 rushing
He did.
touchdowns. The holes opened up for him. The line played well. And Bluffton's defense has been a little suspect at times. So they have Jeremiah Kerr. They have Shane Whitaker. Whitaker's been solid. And then Doyle's been great as well. But May River, if they're able to produce the line, they're going to give opportunities for Macy to do things in space, and he can take off. And that could
I
be a
don't think I had seen Macy's full
Yeah.
line yet. 31 for 258 and 3 touchdowns, and then 6 for 14 for 84 and 2 touchdowns.
So if Bluffton is able to contain Macy, they will most likely contain this May River offense. They just don't have that extra bruising guy you can give the ball to.
Yeah.
And the depth at wide receiver still isn't where they want it to be, although it's been getting better. And Macy, Bluffton's going to have to force Macy to, throw a little more, making him comfortable. And, it's going to come down to Curry, maybe spying on Macy, making sure that he doesn't escape. But, Bluffton's going to have to really play a sound game on defense. And because May River, they're going to control the game. And although Macy is an explosive player, the Sharks team, if they get lead, I mean, they could definitely try to take the air of the ball, run it with Tanner and run it with some other guys and keep the ball away from that explosive Bluffton offense that can, they can score in a moment's notice. And so it's going to be interesting to kind of see how both coaches play it. If that situation arises, I expect May River to continue to run the football, especially if it's working. And then on the Bluffton side, you look at Owen Days. He stepped up in a big game, Hilton Head, and he won that game for them. I think Hilton Head, they fought back. They answered a couple of punches, but Owen Days, he delivered that game-winning score on his own. He connected a couple of clutch passes down the field to a couple of guys, including some who we haven't really mentioned, but came up big
Kyler Vick and Nathan Homer, they got a bunch of guys.
So it's not just although Carnell Warren is a big storyline, so is
he draws a lot of attention.
Yeah,
draws a lot of attention.
But it's great to see that wide
storylines
receiver
for
depth step up in some big games to Bobcats. So Bay's going to have to be very careful. He's going to have to be efficient and smart with the football. There's something to say about the way they compete against James Island. They turned it over a lot. James Island's defense is really good. May River's defense is not in the level of James Island. So if Bays can get back to that consistent play and mistake-free play, I think Bluffton's offense is going to have their way. May River's defense has shown some good things at times, but against Lucy Beckham and James Island, it wasn't really there. That was more of a couple of offenses that can kind of throw a lot at you, and Bluffton can do that too, although they're mostly an air-rated offense with Bays at center. So, and I think it starts with the play of Bays. He can run as well, and this is the game where maybe you throw in some new wrinkles for a rivalry contest like this. So
I would guarantee you that Gregory and company have some wrinkles that we haven't seen yet. I mean, they're those guys. They have like the deep playbook. Like they've definitely got some stuff that they've been holding back. So that'll be interesting to see.
In terms of my pick, of the game, I'm definitely higher on May River than I was. I think there is a formula for the Sharks to come out of here and win this. I think Bluffton's still a more complete team. I like their offense better. They can come back from deficits with the way they're able to throw it downfield and pick up scores in a hurry. I think the revenge factor is it's prominent for Carnell and for Ridgeway. I think Bluffton's going to have more at the table to win this game. But Tanner Macy, he's going to be a factor. But I think
he is the X factor. I got a couple. So you got Bluffton? You think Bluffton? Yeah, I give Bluffton, I think, a slight edge, like 1.5, just because they're at home. I think that's a factor. But all things being equal, I think I like May River more. Like if it were head up, like neutral field, I think I'd go May River. But here's my thing. What it comes down to for me. I believe in both offenses to put up points. I would say the over-under is like 63.5 or something crazy like that. It's going to be high scoring. But I think there's one key on each side, and one is Bluffton has to find a way to contain Macy. They have to make someone else beat them. And that someone else for May River, I think, is Jordan Williams, who was carrying the load pretty good early in the season. And then they kind of shifted gears, and I think they wanted to work some different stuff into the offense. And he's only run the ball once each of the last 2 games after 11, 12, 7, 8, and 10 carries. He's averaging 5.6 for the season. So he's a pretty effective runner. I think we're going to see more of him because I think they know that Bluffton's weakness is stopping that pounding run and tackling people. So I think they showed a lot of empty last week. They didn't show up much of Williams. I think it was a little bit of a diversion. I think that they're going to come back with a little bit more of that power game and have some success, and that's going to open some things up for Macy with some speed option and some read option. So I think May River is going to be able to keep pace. Now, I think what May River has to do to actually outscore Bluffton, which is no easy task, is when Base throws it 30, 35, 40 times, just statistically speaking, he's going to make some mistakes. He's going to misread some plays. He's going to throw some up, and they got to catch him. Like he's going to throw up 2 or 3. Just statistically speaking, I'm not dogging on him. It's just the nature of the beast. And James Island caught him, and Hilton Head didn't. Hilton Head had 1 pick 6 they didn't catch, and so you got to take advantage of. They got one, but if they got the other one, they win the game. If they got the other one, they win the game. So if you catch all of his mistakes, you'll beat him. Yeah. But if you don't, you can't keep pace.
And you got to cash in. If you get a short field, the offense is going to have to do their job. Because not every pick is a pick 6. If you get a short field, you have to cash in. The offense has got to finish the job. So
yeah, that's it for me. So I think it's a toss-up game, and I think it comes down to that. Who can actually capitalize? Teams will make mistakes in high school football. Who capitalizes on them and makes the most of them?
It's a huge game. The winner is pretty much clinched the playoff spot.
Massive game. It's the highest the stakes have been in this game in a long time. Not only because it actually means something, but also because the teams are the most competitive they've been in a long time. So it's going to be awesome.
Really done some good things under Hayden Gregory. I mean, this was May River's rivalry a few years ago. The Sharks were dominant, but now it's pretty even. It's very even. I think slight edge to Bluffton, but Bonneville's done an excellent job in year 1. I mean, the difference is razor thin. I'm just I knew it from the spring ball, just watching them compete. He had them going another gear than what I saw before. And I think they've bought into this new coach, and certainly they've had their down moments, but they've competed hard on the road. They held Gameday to 7 and nearly won at the end on that Hail Mary. This team knows how to fight in the road.
For sure.
In a rivalry game that's gonna just heighten things even more. And they're gonna want to prove themselves. And even when I said when Carnell Warren and Jake Ridgway, they want to make a statement, but so do these Sharks.
Oh yeah,
they think they're in this game, and
I was wondering which way you were going with that revenge factor, because I think there's everybody on the other side has the revenge factor. It's only a couple on the one side, so I think that cuts both ways for sure. But no, it's going to be a great high school football rivalry, and they're all friends at the end of the day. I mean, all Ridgway's best friends are May River, and a bunch of Carnells are. That's just the nature of the beast. We all live in B-Town. But we have someone else who can add a little more insight into the game because he'll be on the call tonight, Mr. Marcus Walsh at WHHI-TV, who serenaded me with a text voice recording today of him singing as Elvis, and it was spectacular, just spectacular.
Thank you.
Yeah. But Marcus, you got the call on what we are now calling. You can call whatever you want tonight on WHHI, but we are calling it the Battle for B-Town, and the Battle for B-Town is going to be a good one. We've been talking about it for a bit, but let's get your thoughts real quick.
Yeah, I certainly mentioned a little bit last night, guys, about what I see with this game.
And, but new audience, it's the launch crowd,
and that's true. The numbers are just so impressive when you look at both of these teams over the years. And what really excites me in doing kind of a deep dive is the fact that it's been, one team for a period of time and another team for a period of time. I mentioned the last 5 years.
When will the tide shift?
May River has had the number of Bluffton in this matchup, and the first 4 times they played within 2 years, in 2016 and 17, it went the way of Bluffton. It's senior night at the Den. It's Hall of Fame night at the Den. Bluffton is, doing a lot of great things, as is May River. May River lost 4 in a row. They came back and ended up beating a very good Colleton County team last week. And Bluffton is riding a little bit of uneasy momentum right now. We know that both these head coaches, especially Hayden Gregory, are very passionate. And I mean, I've interviewed Hayden.
Bonneville's quite passionate as well, I assure you.
No question. I'm not saying that he's not, but obviously little bit of different roles here. Not that
different generations.
Different generations, and certainly, Hayden came in with a bunch of fire and ready to go, and Coach Bonneville has been here before. He's been here a lot as a former coordinator. And
been here the whole time. He lived through the beat downs on both sides of it.
When you take a look again, I'm a guy that loves featuring the star players. I love seeing, the big plays on both sides of the ball, but it's going to come down to the trench game. And honestly, we have so many great stats from these two teams with these players. Both teams are very similar record-wise. Again, the numbers are very similar in this rivalry. This could be maybe the best game that we've called all year, and we've called some good ones. We've seen May River once before, and we're going to see them again. And we've seen Bluffton obviously in the past, especially with the game that Kevin filled in for me with Hilton Head, and we know these teams. The rivalry is what it is. I compared it in terms of the logistics, if you will, in terms of how long it takes to get from one school to another. It's like Duke, North Carolina in basketball. I mean, it's just like that.
I mean, you literally have kids who go to middle school together who then split up and go to different high schools, which is wild to me. That's wild to me. So it's very intertwined, and that's part of what makes it so special. I mean, you've got family members on both sides and all that stuff. That's what makes it so cool. But no, I think it's going to be a good one. One thing that I try to do when I think about these games is like, I think about who I think is going to win, but then I think like, can I imagine either one of these teams blowing the other one out? And a lot of the time you can, and that helps me decide which team is probably going to win. Like the team that I can imagine possibly just steamrolling the other team, like, okay, well, yeah, that there's a way that could happen. Then that's probably the better team. I can't see either one of these teams running away with this game. I feel like it's going to be a fight.
I go back and forth too with that, Justin. I mean, last year's game was really tight. Obviously, Jaden Jones was our player of the game, and he had a really good night.
Monster.
And you see a lot of these really good players. Obviously, the quarterbacks, we talk a lot about them because they're two of the best in our area for sure.
And they're so important to what their teams do on offense. They're critical. Yeah.
No doubt about it. I go back and forth. I was initially thinking that Bluffton might have the edge, and obviously I'm not going to pick a winner, but I was initially thinking that Bluffton might have the edge. And then, even taking a look at some of the stuff that we took a look at last night with Tanner just running around like a madman. I mean, and we've seen it a lot. There might be a chance. It's so close.
There's certainly a chance. I mean, I'd say it's like a 51-49. 52-48 type of situation, more than likely. But
take the whole team with a very short stretch. I would say Bluffton by about 2.5, 3 or so.
That's what I was giving them, like a 1.5, 2.5, something like that. Less than a field goal, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think it's within the margin of home field advantage.
Exactly.
Close there. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think the quarterbacks and how the opposing defenses are able to defend them is really the critical element. I do think a factor in favor of Bluffton is you have a backup quarterback in Aiden McCarthy who's done it, and
Yep.
he's gotten reps all season long, which I think is smart because Bass has been he's a little injury prone. Like he's a big, long kid, lanky kid, and when he takes hits, he can get banged up a little bit. So I love that they've developed Aiden, and he's ready to step in if they need him to. Because that can be huge in high school football. You get a guy dinged up, Macy. If he's going to run it 25 or 30 times for the second week in a row, he's going to be taking some hits. And
Macy,
it's nice to
it's
have a backup.
it's much more of an impact if you lose Macy versus losing Bays because you have that.
Oh yeah.
That backup, you can come in and get it done. So it's nice to be able to build depth, and Bluffton has that with the quarterback's always one of the most important positions on the field. I think.
Well, especially in that offense.
Yeah.
We saw it last year. They lost Max, and it was like, oh, what do we do now? But they've got something there.
Most definitely with the situation with him going down, and we saw him, battle back a lot last year. Just next man up mentality if need be. Bluffton's got that, and so that's definitely a big key for them if they need it. But I agree with you guys completely. This is definitely within the range of home field advantage if you're thinking of it in terms of that. I'm really looking forward to this game. Like I told you last night, Justin, I was talking to some people earlier this week, and they're like, how are things going, whatever. And I was telling them that I haven't called a game in like 3 weeks. And they're like, well, the way you're sounding about it, it sounds like you haven't called a game in like 3 years. I've been busy the last few weeks, plus, getting back from being down with the sickness, as you said last night, which is a very, very good song. By the way, I'm not a huge fan of that band, but
I'm not either. But that one will get hyped up. That's a good one for the pregame pump up list or the pre-show pump up list.
I was a little down with the sickness, but being back at Bluffton High, I'm really excited for this game.
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome.
One. Yeah,
it's also a great walk-up song. Down with the sickness.
Yeah,
great walk-up song.
Yeah.
Sure. Very good one. About the other games on the slate, high school league-wise, we've got in that region, we got Hilton Head at James Island, Lucy Beckham at Colleton. I don't think either of the undefeated teams is in great danger there. Right? I just think they're better. I think Colleton will fight them. I think Hilton Head will fight them, but I just don't think they got the soldiers. North Charleston and Beaufort, same thing. I think North Charleston will fight, but as long as Beaufort's locked in, they'll be fine.
I want your thoughts on Hanahan Simmons, though. Not in our coverage area, but that's a huge game.
Hanahan Phillip Simmons,
that's a great game.
Yeah, I think it's Phillip Simmons. I think Phillip Simmons is head and shoulders above the rest of the region, honestly. I think Hanahan Beaufort next week is the much more interesting game for me. But Rivera's good. Rivera's good. He's a dude.
I would tend to agree. The little bit that I know about those two teams, that's a really tight region. We talk a lot, and I follow certainly more of what 7-4A is like because we see a lot more 7-4A with our WHHI schedule. But at 8-3A region, holy crap, that is tough. Really, really good.
Well, yeah, Beaufort won 7-4A this year. They swept it. They didn't play James Island or Lucy Beckham, but they swept our area of it. So, but our area, if they were, if it was just our region, there was a region, they would have won it.
We had, 7-4A. We had it was Hilton Head, Bluffton, Beaufort, and Colleton. It's just those four.
And May River came in, right? Too.
Yeah, before that,
they were 3A. They were 3A for.
Yeah, it was just those four teams in one region.
Yeah, that was wild. That was weird. And then we got Edisto at Ridgeland, which is very interesting. I kind of like Ridgeland in that one. I think they're playing tough football right now. They're
playing very tough.
They gave Barnwell trouble last week. It was mostly Jaquise, but they got Maurice Brown back, and I think they get her done tonight. It's homecoming too. Homecoming in Jasper County is it's going to be hype out there. If I otherwise obligated.
I want to hear that. I want to hear that growling voice from the PA.
Oh yeah.
I tell you
Yeah.
what, I went there to call the May River Ridgeland game last year to open our season.
That was a rough.
in
That was
early
a rough
September.
one.
That was a rough game. It was rainy,
Miserable
obviously,
night.
JV
I was around the
Jones
corner at Thomas Hayward, and it was a miserable night.
and
Ugh.
company dominated. But you talk about just overall atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That place is absolutely incredible, and
Especially when the band shows up. The
I'm
band
hoping
wasn't there
that
when
we
I
can
was
get
there
back
earlier.
there, especially with the success that Ridgeland has had late last year into this year.
Well, I'll tell you where you go next
freeway,
year.
right?
They're splitting up. Hardyville, Ridgeland
that's
next year.
awesome.
That's
true.
you want that one.
Oh boy.
When they used to play the Hardyville Ridgeland game, I think they called it the Ben Riley Classic or something, named after the sheriff's deputy who was killed in the line of duty out there in Jasper County. And that was one of the most live environments I've ever been in. They had some amazing concessions going too, like fish fry and stuff going, man. It was wild. I'm telling you, when Hardyville and Ridgeland play next year, it's going to pop off.
I have to say
It'll be
too
good.
that you guys have convinced me, and ever since you, Justin, told me a few weeks ago, you got to at least follow a little bit, even though you don't call them. You got to follow a little bit of Hampton County and follow what Dobson's doing. That man is just absolutely insane.
Told you.
Told you. You did.
There's a bunch of dogs out there.
Oh man!
Remember, they're all dogs out there. Remember?
Unreal.
They're every one of them's a dog. I'll remind you if you
don't remember. You get the
they
video.
Were. Oh, I do have a video. I do. Oh man, I do have a video. Hold up. We got a good one. Let me look it up here. But no, Hampton's got the night off, so we don't talk Hampton this week. But they're for real. And, I think they kick on next week and get that number one seed and
play Oceanside be on the outside of Oceanside.
And you know what? I think they kind of want Oceanside. I don't think they're scared of them. I really don't. I don't think they're frightened. But if it comes down to a golf tournament between Hampton and Oceanside, we might be in trouble because we got Cave on at the Top Golf here. And it's not great. There's the whale. Oh, got that. I gotta run it back. Put my man Cave on. Look at this. Here we go.
Oh, swing and miss.
Missed it. Oh, but he got it on that second one.
It's a golf's a different game. I'll tell you that much. You think it's easy, but when you get out there and swing the club, it's a whole difference.
If I had
it's so hard. It's so hard.
If I had a nickel for every time I did that, go up to the tee and put everything I got into it, and I missed the ball, I'd have a good chunk of change.
Yeah,
look around,
no doubt.
See if anybody other than my dad saw it,
but
and go after it again.
My man Kayvon ain't going to college for golf, but he's going to go play football.
We got some. We definitely we talked to a great golfer last night, Claire Green, that favorite girls team. They're looking legit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So good.
But we got one more. We got one more game, I believe, we talk about because
we do. Whale Branch and Branchville.
And you can't look past this one if you're Jarrett Hatcher. I don't think they are. I expect them to come out full throttle tonight and punish this Branchville team and then get ready for the big one a week from now against Bamberg Earhart.
Yeah, and I will be on the call on that one. Color commentary with Carl DeMasi, the coach from Savannah, for Whale Branch and Bamberg Earhart. So definitely looking forward to that one on WSAV. That'll be good times.
I'll be there as well. I'll be there as well to cover that one. So,
you know what? I might take myself up to Branchville for the first quarter or something tonight before I go to Walterboro. If I can get out the door in time. It'll be a challenge. It's a pretty good haul up there, but it ain't too far from Walterboro. I'm already
Great to
that
see-
far up.
Great to see KJ Chisholm get a north-south nod. Very, very well deserved. I mean,
Well deserved. Well
Yeah.
deserved.
Yeah.
He is big time.
Yep.
And I mean, he's going to go Division One, I think, but he's bigger than his recruitment. He's quite a bit better than his recruitment, I think. Like, he's elite. He's going to be another Whale Branch diamond in the rough that somebody stumbles onto, and he's got the potential to play on Sundays, like, legitimately.
Yep.
A bunch of those guys really have that ceiling. I mean, Bradford Thompson. He's got the makeup, man. And that's the thing. They got the makeup because it's being bred into them by Jerry Hatcher and his coaching staff, and Casper Middleton in particular is connecting a ton of dots for guys and going, look, this guy did this and now he's this. You do this and you'll be this. And they're following the blueprint, and it's pretty special what's happening out there. That Big Tots is only a sophomore, man.
Oh, good.
And he already looks like Xavier Chaplin, who's starting at Virginia Tech. Like,
That's freaky. That
Wow.
is
you know what I'm talking about? Big Tots.
Yeah.
78.
Yeah. We
Gigant,
talked
or
about it when we
76, one or
talked
the other.
about it.
Giganticon.
Yeah.
He's funny too, man. He's a
7,
good kid.
Anywhere from 345 to
Yeah.
355.
Isaiah Evans. Giant. And he moves, dude. He's not slow-footed. Like, it's
He's-
wild.
Yeah. He's
So,
quick
yeah, I
on
think
the
Whale Branch,
first step.
like Dwight said the other night, that Whale Branch team is special. They got that special sauce where they all play for each other and really are invested in each other. And so I think they're going to be just fine tonight. And then next week will be a war. That's going to be an awesome matchup. But
I think
I mean,
every game on out from here to the playoffs, it's going to be it's the time of year.
It's time to lock in. It's time to lock in. Like, you can't, no more wake up calls. Like, we got to go. It's time to be our best and get a little bit better every week. So this is when it gets really fun, because you really start to separate the contenders from the rest of the crowd, and see who's got it and who we're going to invest ourselves in for the next month, and hopefully in the season covering a state
You're going
championship.
to get ready for basketball season.
Yeah, we're already getting ready. Willie White hit me with his preseason prospectus for the boys already. He's got it all laid out. I haven't even had a chance to look at it yet. Robbie's got ideas already. He's got ideas for preseason coaches corner series. Like, we're getting ready to roll with basketball. It's going to be dope. But all things in time.
I can mention too, Kevin and I are going to be out calling games too.
Reading the whiteboard live on TV.
To come on and talk to games that we'll be at, because we'll have.
You're dang right. You're getting in the rotation.
The
Hey, County Hoops team's going to be pretty good too, right?
Oh, I can't wait, dude. Because it's all them dudes playing football plus Devin, and Goodman plays football, but Goodman's a dude in basketball. He's amazing. And then Kayvon and Xavier and them guys playing with them. Darius, the freshman, Darius Brooks, who will be a sophomore now. Oh man, that team's gonna be live. It's gonna be live. I'll miss Isaac, but they got a lot of juice on that team. It's gonna be really fun. Hezzy,
tell you.
Hezzy too.
A team that I'm and I saw them for the first time.
Don't sleep on Ridgeland boys either, though.
Yep.
I've called some Ridgeland games since I've been doing basketball on WHHI.
And Whale Branch with Faber.
Yep.
But I'm interested as well, especially because he moved to Bridges Prep to take over the AD job. I went to that Bridges Prep Whale Branch doubleheader last year and called that.
Yeah.
And Bridges
that boys'
Prep
game was hype, dude.
It was phenomenal.
The girls' game was crazy and went down to the wire, but then the boys' game was live. It was fun.
It was great.
It was packed and hot in there too,
for sure.
You guys were up on a platform. Jeremy was up in the air on a ladder or something.
Great.
It was.
You guys have fun basketball season.
We do.
It was bananas in there.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to get in the gym. As excited as I am for tonight and the next 4 or 5 weeks, I'm already like just juiced about getting in the gym and seeing basketball. It's just I love shifting gears and getting a new wind for something new every few months. It's awesome. Like you said, Marcus, last night, I love what I do. There's nothing else I want to do. So we'll see y'all out there tonight. It's going to be a good time. If you see me, remind me to take a selfie with you. I always forget and then wish I had taken a selfie with you. So please just go, hey, come on, let's get a selfie. Keep us posted, on all the platforms. And we'll be back here 11:30-ish to round it all up and round up whoever we can to help us make sense of it all on Lowco Pigskin Live. That's the one at night. So that's going to do it for this episode. But first, let's shout out some more sponsors because I forgot about all of them. Varsity sponsors, DDS Web Design. They can build you a website and get you found online using SEO techniques. Dave and Denise Sinkovich, great folks from
they're Yenzers from up Pittsburgh way, like Peduzzi. You probably know Peduzzi, yeah, from up there.
And they'll get you all set up with the website. You probably already met them at the Giuseppe's, one of the Giuseppe's locations, DDSHHI.com. And then you got Parker Law Group, our friends out in Hampton, Jasper, and Colleton counties, serving legal needs and helping us continue to expand our coverage area and expand our coverage of the folks out there and shine a light on more deserving student athletes and teams. And then we got the Lowco Booster Club, Prime IV Hydration and Wellness, now open in Belfair Town Village to go get your IV sack in the massage chairs. Rooted Living Wellness, Dr. Ambrose Cole is the best chiropractor I've ever seen. He's amazing. Like amazing. Go see him. It's just a great place too. Really nice vibe in there. Peaceful, non-judgmental. Makes you feel good about yourself. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Chris Odom will get your floors so clean that your feet will thank you. And then Eagle Creations, full line promotional products and custom apparel, as well as custom gift baskets out off Argent Boulevard, and Court Lifestyle Pros. Hilton Head Lowco natives selling the Hilton Head lifestyle. Daniel and Debbie Court. That's what it is. So thanks so much to all of our sponsors. Thanks to everyone who jumped on with us today. Thanks, Marcus. Have a great time out at the game tonight. You always enjoyed the battle for B-Town. I'll be up in the borough of Walter, and should be a good time when we reconvene here tonight. So for Marcus Walsh and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until tonight, go Lowco.